know that there's hope for a better world. There's hope for a better tomorrow. I know that you cannot live on hope alone, but without it, life is not worth living. And you've got to give them hope. Thank you very much.
Harvey Milk was born on May 22, 1930 in Woodmere, New York. He was the son of Jewish parents and department store owners William Milk and Marina Carnes. In his early years, Harvey Milk was considered a good student and a well-liked individual. He played football for his high school and held an interest in opera. As a teenager, Milk was aware of his homosexuality but decided to keep it to himself due to his conservative upbringing. After graduating college, he served in the U.S. Navy during the Korean War and was later discharged in 1955. Still waiting for inspiration and fulfillment in his life, Milk moved to San Francisco after hearing it had the largest population of gay and overall accepting community. His partner at the time was Scott Smith, and the two opened a camera store together in San Francisco. Milk immersed himself in the city's culture and found himself becoming well-known and well-liked within the neighborhood. It was around this time that he decided to enter politics.
My life be like, yeah. My life be like, yeah.
Becoming the first openly gay individual to be elected office in the United States, Harvey Milk encouraged the LGBTQ community to come out and participate in political activities, and he believed that the visibility was necessary to gather support for the community and the civil rights movement to sensitize the general public about the unique issues faced by gays.
Most importantly, every gay person must come out.
Mayor Moscone, who had had his political ups and downs with Milk in the past, also ended up embracing the new supervisor. The mayor and Milk were a force to be reckoned with, and in April of 1978, Moscone signed a landmark gay rights law that had been pushed through the board by Milk. Milk has something for everybody was Harvey's first campaign slogan. This was in deep contrast to his opposition Dan White's slogan, "Unite and fight with Dan White." White was flustered by the witty of Milk, and he found his colleague captivating and exhausting. Harvey Milk and George Moscone were everything Dan White was not: charming, enthusiastic, comfortable in their own skin, and most importantly, Moscone and Milk thrived in San Francisco.
What I'm going to do is call upon the gay community to come out now. Keep the education going. Keep talking one-to-one. Talk to your relatives, your friends, your family, so that you can find out about gay people and shatter the myths once and for all so we can live in harmony.
Witnesses say after killing the mayor, White ran down the hall and fired 3 shots at Milk, killing him. Milk had opposed the reappointment of White. In the total confusion after the shooting, the president of the Board of Supervisors, Dianne Feinstein, spoke.
Both Mayor Moscone and Supervisor Harvey Milk have been shot and killed.
Jesus Christ!
The suspect is Supervisor Dan White.
Suddenly and unexpectedly, in November of 1978, Dan White resigned from the Board of Supervisors. However, 1 week later, he asked Mayor Moscone for his job back. Angered that Moscone wasn't going to reappoint him, Dan White stormed into City Hall, furious at Moscone. Soon after entering the office of Mayor Moscone, Dan White repeatedly shot at his chest and at his head. Moscone died instantly after the firing, and meanwhile, Dan White reloaded his gun and headed for Milk's office down the hall.
It wasn't that Dan came to George to ask for his job back. He came with the intent of murdering him. He formed that intent before he ever came into City Hall. He came as a murderer.
Minutes later, Dan White retreated to St. Mary's Cathedral to sought forgiveness from God for what he had done. Dan White admitted to the police shortly after the shooting on November 28, 1978, that he had killed the two officials.
Inspector Frank Falzone, the man who took his first confession after the murders. Dave McElhatton.
Soon after the death of Milk and Moscone, huge crowds started to gather. They marched in total silence down Market Street to City Hall holding candles. And in his final days, Milk said that San Francisco was his home, not only for himself, but thousands of other gay people looking for a safe haven their entire lives. It was a place for dreamers, outcasts, and wandering souls. And finally, from the words of Cleve Jones, he says, "We must always remember the man behind the legend we are building. And we must always remember that the work done by Harvey Milk is work that we can all share, and that his achievements are ones in which we can all aspire. We must remember as well that our defeats, our humiliations, and our losses were also shared by Harvey in his time." And this is how, even though he is not with us today, that his legend can live on.